Right now in your life, what's the biggest problem that you're facing? Maybe you're on social media too much, or maybe you can't stick to your diet plan. Maybe you can't seem to get work done and stay focused, or maybe you're just lonely. But what if I told you for every single one of your problems, by doing this one thing, they could all be fixed? It sounds too good to be true, right? But it's not, because this is what controls your problems, your actions, and hence, ultimately, your life. Because the mistake that everyone makes is that they think that purely the action of checking their phone, cheating on their diet, is all there is to the picture, whereas in fact it's a whole process that's taking place. Just as it would be stupid to just focus on the water entry part of a dive when there's a whole more important process behind it. You have to tackle this whole process to fix your life, to be able to take control of all parts. And once you are able to do this, it's like a superpower, because you can mold your life in any way, just like a video game. And so what is this sacred power that I'm talking about? This is the power, the beauty, and the danger of habits. Think about it, when you sit on the toilet, you automatically scroll on TikTok because it's a habit. When you feel stressed out, you automatically go into your kitchen and eat junk food because it's a habit. You naturally keep alt-tabbing out of your current window when you need to be working to check YouTube because it's a habit. And it's not simply just the action of scrolling on TikTok, cheating on your diet, not being able to get work done that's the cause of your downfall. It's actually a 4-step process. And this process includes the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. And it's scary to think that every single decision, every aspect of your life is determined by these 4 points, but it's true. Cue: your phone buzzes with a new text message. Craving: you want to learn the contents of that message. Response: you grab your phone and read the text. Reward: you satisfy your craving to read the message, and so grabbing your phone becomes associated with your phone buzzing. And I'll start with breaking bad habits, because you can have good habits, but if you still have as many bad habits as good habits, you're not going to make any progress. So the first step in breaking a bad habit is to understand how they work. The response and reward is essentially the bad habit action that everyone tries to stop. For example, the action of fapping, the action of putting the chocolate into your mouth. But what's the thing that led you to do that in the first place? Because if you can cut out the cue and the craving completely, you won't have the desire for the reward or the response, hence cutting out this bad habit entirely. And there's 2 ways to do this. As I just mentioned, you can either cut the cue or overcome the craving through discipline. And the harder and more difficult option is to be disciplined, because when the cue comes, so your phone buzzes with a text message and you get the craving to know the contents, you use discipline to overcome that craving. You have the urge, you have the neuron impulse in your brain that tells you to go pick up that text message. I wonder what that text message is. But you're saying, no, I'm not going to give in to the craving. And the way I like to do this is to think about the negatives. Make the reward aspect unappealing in itself. If I look at my phone, I'm going to disrupt my flow state. If I look at that, I'm going to end up scrolling on Instagram and wasting time. Just this simple action of stepping back and looking at the bigger picture and how this moment in time may seem insignificant, but it can affect your life in a broader scale, really helps you to zoom out and think more deeply before you do this action. Because the number 1 rule in stopping a bad habit is to make it seem unappealing. And of course it's difficult, because if we had the discipline before, we wouldn't be doing the bad habits in the first place. So discipline on itself isn't enough. So the easier way is to just get rid of the cue entirely. In the case of checking your phone, you can put your phone on do not disturb, you can turn off notifications, you can put your phone in an entirely different room when you're trying to work. And these are all cue cutters, and obviously this can work, but in an ideal world this would be enough. But the scariest part is, even though the cue isn't in front of you, you actively seek the cue. You're thinking of, oh, I really want to scroll on social media, so you actively go to the other room where you put your phone and you get it to scroll on social media. And that's why you need to have a mix of discipline and cue cutting if you really want to stop a bad habit. And although cue cutting may not seem to be effective, or you can't see how that would help, this is a study that's been done multiple times. If in your household every day when you will come in from work and on your kitchen table is a bowl of cookies, even if you hadn't had the intention to, simply the cue of it being there leads you to eat cookies, So conversely, to really take full control of your life and to start implementing good habits, it's exactly the opposite. You put more cues around yourself instead of getting rid of them. For example, if you want to start studying, you put your textbook on your desk on the page that you're going to study the day before. Or if you want to achieve this thing, you write your goals and you stick them on the wall where you can see them. Simply this action of putting it in front of your vision. Your vision is the most powerful and influential sense that the human body has. So just by putting it in your vision, it's shown by studies such as Anne Thorndike's water study, where when more water was simply placed around the cafeteria, the sale of soda went down by 25%, whereas the sale of water went up exponentially. So that's great. We put these cues around for our good habits, but how do we create that bridge between cue and creating the craving? Because for bad habits, the craving's automatically there and we're trying to overcome it. But for good habits, creating the craving in itself is the difficult part. So what you do is you make it appealing. You make it something that you want to do. If I sleep more today, I'll get jacked. If I study today, I'll get good grades and make my parents proud. And obviously, it goes without saying that creating cravings with good habits is much more harder. But simply by keeping in the back of your mind this 4-step process that's running your life, you can start to control it. And little by little, you take back control of your life. And if this video is interesting to you, check out my other videos where I discuss things all self-improvement, such as how to quit NoFap and new ideologies you can carry into your life for a better experience. And so remember, start with the cue. Hide it or make it obvious depending on whether you're trying to break a bad habit or build a good one. And then make the reward either attractive or unattractive. Take back the right of your life that you are entitled to.